Hey guys, welcome back to the Kind of an Expert podcast, the only podcast where the guest picks the topic of every single episode. My name is Corey Tyndall, and as always, I'm your host. And this week I sat down with New York City comedian Eli Haba, who is back on the podcast to talk about building things. Both Eli and I have a ton of experience in construction and with building things as hobbies, whether that's in shop classes, working over the summer, etc. So we wanted to talk about it. It was a really fun conversation, talking about ways that we've injured ourselves, the crazy people that we met, the different projects that we've done and how we did them. So even if you're not big into home building and building, I still think you're going to like this episode. This was a lot of fun. Follow him at Eli Haba _ on Instagram and check out his show every single Monday at 8 p.m. at the Grizzly Pear. That is either the Greenwich Village or the Midtown one. Check his Instagram to figure out which one. And as always, follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media and come to Ope, a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village of New York City. With that, let's get into the episode. This podcast has more on YouTube than Spotify or Apple. Is that Spotify and Apple don't recommend podcasts to people.
Right.
Where like YouTube, if I throw it up on YouTube, it automatically goes in their algorithm and they're just showing it to people. Like it doesn't, I don't know who they are. I don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But the YouTube algorithm is actually pushing it. And then if you push like, okay, let me put a bunch of clips on TikTok. So they see that. They go to the link in the bio straight to YouTube. They can go right to the video, or I put it on YouTube Shorts, then they could subscribe right there.
Right.
And it's just like this built-in, it's like a free advertising platform built into the platform where like podcasts, Apple and Spotify and like Podbean or whatever, they have to search for it. I can't even like, I'm subscribed to my own podcast on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I have to search the whole name and then still search a little bit more to find my own fucking podcast on Spotify.
I found it in like 5 seconds today.
Oh, you did?
But I had to do the whole thing, Kind of an Expert.
Yes.
And then it came up just because I wanted to see what some of the other things that people were talking about was.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that YouTube is having so much, like, because they were the thing.
Yeah.
Like whenever, like 15 years ago or something. And then Vine wasn't a platform, was it?
Not really. It was kind of I was never big on Vine. It always seemed a little too spastic for me.
Sure.
I was like, why would
like
anyone
that
do this?
idea for content ended up being a great idea.
Yes.
Because Snapchat stories, you have the Instagram Reels, and now you have YouTube Shorts, which I actually think, I think YouTube Shorts are the best one.
Oh, really?
I think so, because, I mean, I don't really go on Instagram too much anymore, but I'll be on, like, every night. I'll just go on YouTube Shorts for, like, sometimes, like, 2 hours. Just way too long.
Okay.
And I find that the stuff that they recommend to me is just way more interesting to me than the Instagram. I hate the Reels. Because
no, I hate Reels, too.
I think the problem with it is that I follow so many comics.
Yeah.
They're like... I should be able to set it to be like, never ever show me comedy.
Yes.
I just follow these people.
Matthew Broussard did that with his TikTok. He was like, I have it perfectly curated where I'm not friends with any comedians.
Right.
I'm not like any of this stuff. And I was like, well, that explains why he didn't follow me back. But also he doesn't want to see my
nice
shit.
Thing to say.
But he was like, it took me months to get all of the, I had to like dislike every single stand-up clip that came up. I had to curate it perfectly, which like... Yeah, it makes sense. It's his fucking full-time job. Why would he want to watch it?
It's annoying. Like, it's so much of it is just so annoying. And I do love to go on there every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'll just look at the Reels, and I love watching bad comedy.
So there's plenty of that.
I do enjoy it every once in a while. But when it's just the only thing that's on there, it's like, it's crazy because, like, I follow a lot of comedians. Mm-hmm. So I'll get a lot of those. But I don't follow, like, any... like supermodels or just like big tits accounts.
Yeah.
And it's either comedy or that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even search for this.
No.
I never looked those up. I follow some women that I know and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's just like they give me all these girls. And I'm like, fucking why, dude? And I think it's just because you're like, oh, other people that follow all these people Like all these famous comics, dudes that follow them also like this.
You also follow a bunch of sports pages.
Sure.
So
they,
all those animals
they're putting me in a sorting hat.
Yes.
But I think the thing with YouTube is that because with YouTube, I'm signed in through my like a Google account.
Sure.
Through my Gmail.
Uh-huh.
So that I think also tracks everything I search on Google. And it's a better representation of what I'm actually interested in. Because the stuff I get is genuine. I get some stand-up sometimes because I'll post my clips on there, I guess. But I don't subscribe to any pages on YouTube.
No.
So I just get whatever. I just get like general stuff, science stuff a lot. I'll get like art construction stuff too, which is cool.
That's a lot of what my YouTube is. Just like I watch like Kurt Sagat, couple of sports things, and then like weekend update, and that's really it. But all the suggestions are stuff that I actually want to see, to your point, which is I still haven't tried. I have a feeling a lot of people are watching shorts and nobody's talking about it. Everyone talks about TikTok,
YouTube shorts.
Yeah,
people love YouTube shorts.
I don't know anyone. It's like people who have an Android phone, they like keep it on the DL. But I would assume maybe I'll give it a shot, because I honestly am getting tired of TikTok, because it's got kind of the same problem as Reddit, which is very insular. And so it's the same. Reddit is amazing for like 3 years, and then you see the full cycle of like, okay, now the younger generation's getting on, and they just repeat. It's the same. Like the memes are all the same, just in different.
The thing I love about Reddit is like the depth of it. That it seems like it's never ending.
Yes.
Like you can always find something that surprises you on Reddit.
Yes.
We were like on the road recently, and we looked up lot lizards on Reddit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat any of the stuff, but it was just like it was insane.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what was that show on HBO that was like Taxi Confessionals or something? Backseat Confessionals. When they just get people in the back of a cab late at night, and they just like, they're a little drunk, so they just admit to shit on camera that you should never say to anybody.
No, on camera.
And this is the same thing with just like one, like your anonymity is the cute handle you come up with.
Yeah.
But you just speak something into the ether, and it goes to everybody. Potentially.
Right. Yeah.
Whoever searches this thing. And the stuff that people were saying, it was like, you're not even the same species as me. It is.
What were they saying?
Fucking crazy. They're just talking about having sex with, you know what lot lizards are?
Sure. They're hookers at truck stops.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Hookers at truck stops is like a nice way to call them.
Yeah.
They're meth heads who need $5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'll do anything to get it.
Oh yeah. There's the way that they're talking about having sex with these prostitutes, lot lizards. They'll tell these stories, and they're all so crazy of just like watching what human beings are doing for just a few dollars. Like, it's honestly, it's $10. Just like that level of desperation.
When you only have $3, $10.
I don't know how much you could get for meth. How much meth you can get for $10, but I guess it's like either. It's plenty.
That's a good question.
But they'll do, and just every time it's like yeah. So I was having sex with this lot lizard, and it's just like that is an accepted part of it. Like, that's the premise. That's where you're starting.
It's just how it is.
So far away from where I am. You know? So it's just like completely unrelatable.
Where is the closest truck stop, do you think?
I have them all over. Yeah.
To here?
Yeah, for sure.
Where?
But I don't think
there's not one in the city.
No, not in New York City.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Closest truck stop to New York City, probably.
I guess it's like, what do you call it?
Long Island, maybe.
Like a truck stop, like not a way station. Those are pretty small.
Sure.
I don't even know. Yeah, there's probably some in Long Island, but I would say the closest one is probably the I don't know if it's the Vince Lombardi one. But like, if you go out to Jersey, you get on 95. If you like, so you get out of Lincoln
Tunnel.
Me
exactly how to get there.
Yeah,
you just like to find the best lot lizards.
Leave the Lincoln Tunnel. I think the best lot lizards, you gotta go to like Mississippi or something.
Sure. Yeah.
But you or like Appalachia. That's where you want to be. But like, if you go out of the Lincoln Tunnel, and then you make a left. You get on I-95 South.
Okay. And
within 2 or 3 miles, there's the first gas station on your right.
Okay.
Is just like, there's fucking 50 trucks there all the time.
Great. Yeah. Carmen and I have a field trip.
There you go.
There's so TikTok is kind of bringing this back in this newfound, like, American attitude of nobody has any shame anymore. There's a channel on TikTok that I found where a dude dresses up like a priest and he puts up like a false wall in a bathroom, and then in a woman's bathroom, and then women come in and tell him their sins, but it's all on camera.
Okay.
And so this woman came in and just started talking about how she loves glory holes on camera. I was like, bro, you're probably at your local bar. Like, your mom is probably outside right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, it blew my mind.
Does she
I
think
was
he's
like,
actually a priest?
no,
She understands that she's being
it's
filmed.
like he's all tattooed. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like a hidden camera show. It's like, no, they're doing it for attention. And
I
like,
think
look,
any girl who's like signing up to go talk to a priest who's covered in tattoos in a bathroom,
that's what I'm saying,
is
though.
worried about what their mother's going to think about them. You know?
Okay, so that's exactly my point. Is to your point of like, that is so far away from anything.
Oh yeah.
I would do,
Yeah.
especially on camera. Like, even if
I
it
wouldn't
wasn't
even-
on camera, I'd be like, I'm
Yeah.
not telling this weird tattooed man about my quote unquote sins. Like, fuck that.
Also, glory hole is just like there's so much shame baked into that.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's so impersonal.
Well, it's all about sexual depravity. So
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
to talk about it at all,
Yeah.
just seems strange.
And that's what this topic for this episode is: sexual depravity.
We can do that.
No, I'm good. This podcast is approved for children. It's not. Don't show.
No.
YouTube asks when you have to.
I know. Yeah.
Is this for kids? And every once in a while, I'm tempted to be like, yes.
I wonder what
Get some more-
happens.
get
Is
some
like
more views.
shuffle it in with the Wiggles.
I don't know. It's so I did read it when I first started putting these on YouTube, and it's something about like it will recommend it after children's videos, where if you say no, then it won't do that, and it'll also if children have an account, like you have to say you're over 13, so if they're like 14 years old, then it'll open it up to them too.
Man, that,
good way
like,
to get flagged though.
One toggle thing, because it's just like it's a thing. You just like fill out the circle or whatever.
Yeah.
That's more oversight than any of the other ones have.
Yeah.
By like a mile.
Yeah, it
even
is.
that, because it's a step you have to take. And
Yes.
so it really makes you think about it when you're posting. Like, is this for kids? No, it's not. Do I want kids to see it? No, probably not.
No, not really.
It's not worth the headache. And just that is already making YouTube so much better than any of the other ones.
That was my, like, if I could change one thing immediately about TikTok, it'd be that, like, I want a setting on my profile that's just no children.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they're doing, but it's like
But then
the
you need it
odds
to
of
be like, you have to have like the whatever kind of software that looks at the performer,
sure,
right, and like looks at them, because like they can say they're 25 and
Right.
they could be 16,
Right.
you know, because they
That's
do that
true.
sometimes.
That's true. But at least like filter out the ones who say they're children. And I'm not saying like not even just like the dancing, but just any of them. I don't want to see kids on my TikTok. I want to see videos about the NFL.
I don't have the TikTok thing.
No. It's going away soon, so
I would imagine so. Well, yeah, they're gonna like make it illegal.
it's I think it's getting worse. I do think it should be banned. And the reason I think it should be banned, I think I said this recently on the podcast, so I'll keep it brief, is that like with all this commotion going on about China getting data or whatever, it's never been super compelling to me. The reason that they should ban TikTok is because after the hearing, TikTok was paying creators to talk about how stupid the American government was. And I was like, that is propaganda. They are paying American people to create anti-American propaganda. It's if they invade Taiwan, are they going to start paying the creators and suppress the creators who are pro-China taking over Taiwan and suppressing the ones that are against it? Like that is a huge intelligence advantage. And it 100% they should not be able to do that.
What's
like,
the TikTok dance you do to like the Chinese national anthem?
I'd
like to see that one.
it's I'm gonna guess it's some sort of weird march.
Yeah.
You'd stand in front of a tank for a little while.
I think
and
it's
then,
more you just like kind of wearing tights and dancing in
sure,
a circle.
right. As long as it's not children, go for it.
You ever see? This is like another thing I'll get on Instagram Reels is I'll get people dancing.
Yeah.
I used to get it all the time. I don't really get it as much anymore, but you get people dancing and they're doing like, it's almost always the same people.
Okay.
It's like 3 different groups of people. It's like these 2 guys that I think they live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then other than that, it's people in Russia.
Okay.
And it's this one group of guys that could be anywhere from like 1 to 5 guys together, but it's always the same dudes.
Sure.
And then this other group, it's a couple guys, couple girls, and sometimes 1 or 2 or 5 of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And the ones they always do the same structure where it's like somebody will do this like little dance thing and then just like kind of go like that to the next guy, and the next guy will go like this, and then it'll be like, you don't know how to do it. And then the beat drops and then they both do it perfectly. This in sync.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's retarded.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, it's whatever. It's, you know, just kids dancing. And the one in LA makes sense because Los Angeles, but the other ones, like, they're doing it in like the red square.
Sure.
It's got like the like ice cream cone buildings behind them. And it's just like such like an oppressive place. You always hear it's like, oh, Russia, you know, they're not like us, dude. Like, state runs everything. It's like, no, they do the same shit.
You know, well, they could just get arrested
kids
for
that just want to be famous.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they getting arrested for? They're just like, I don't know. I think that they're probably heroes over there.
Oh, yeah.
I think the government
most
loves
famous,
that kind of content, you know?
That's true.
Where people like kind of talk down on it here, like, oh, this is like bad for the kids. Like, no, this is what everybody should be doing over here.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I think I'm over all of it. I think I was just thinking about today. I was like, man, because one of the big things on TikTok is just the strategy that you need to post on all these social media sites if you're going to make it your job.
Yeah.
And like with TikTok, they were like, well, you got to use CapCut for the templates and the editing because that's also owned by TikTok, and then you need to post at least this many videos per day, and if you're not getting this many views, then it means they were like, you need to post at least once a day, but the first like week or 2 weeks that you're doing it, you should post 2 to 3 videos every single day so the algorithm starts to notice you. And I was just watching it going like, man, I so miss when I had like a real job. Yeah. It was like, like even though they suck, even though roofing houses sucks, even though framing a basement sucks, working at a gas station sucks, like at least I wasn't worried about the number of fucking views I got that day. Yeah, just like sitting here staring at my phone, like hoping the number goes up, like I'm playing the fucking lottery. It's exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like not... everything to be said has already been said about that, but I would be like, I don't really post on Instagram anymore, but when I would do it, I would just post and then just never even, I have no notifications on my phone for it.
No.
I have to open the app to see if anything happens.
I still open it 90 times a day, but I have to open it.
I've been pretty good about it.
Oh.
I use it.
Teach me your ways.
I use it probably less than 20 minutes a day. Wow. And that's like posting for my show, that's messaging people for stuff like that, yeah. I've just really put it out of mind. I used to be very bad with it though. But
it's just my bored thing. I'm at work. It's like, all right, I stared at this Excel sheet for 3 minutes now. Let me open that up.
Yeah.
It's gotten so bad that I can now gauge how much I like a television show by how much I'm on Instagram during the episode. Like, like Succession. I didn't look at the phone at all in the last episode. No spoilers, but afterwards I was like, oh man, I really like that episode. I got like 90 Instagram notifications. Oh, it's so bad. I know, it's so bad. And like, I used to build shit.
A lame thing to be connected to.
Build shit with my free time. Like, I got bored. Like, my buddy and I got bored in high school, and so we took my dad's old snowblower, which wasn't working, fixed the engine, and then built a go-kart out of it.
Damn.
That's the shit we used to. He did 98% of it, but it was my dad's snowblower, so I'm taking at least half the credit.
It's 50-50.
That's what I was doing with my time off, and now I'm just like scrolling Instagram, worried about a video getting likes or not. Like, what happened to me, man?
You gotta, even if it's just like a hobby, just start throwing some stuff together.
Yeah,
like, much better creative outlet, you know.
Well, where do you do it? Because you live in New York too, and like I was gonna build that bar, and I ended up just buying it because I was like, where the fuck would I even do that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what it is. Like I was just telling you, I made that cutting board over like the last couple days, and that was, I just like had some extra stuff lying around. So
just in your apartment.
Yeah, so I built it at my desk, and then I finished it on my girlfriend's fire escape. I sanded it out there. But I was like,
so people are walking under, and you're just like grating them like Parmesan cheese as they walk by.
There's a restaurant in her building on the first floor, and this guy's like because doing the daytime. This
So
is today
funny.
and yesterday. And it was like, so I did the whole thing by hand. I didn't use any power tools except for
Sure.
the sander.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to see if I could do this just with like one clamp, glue, and a handsaw.
Okay.
And so I had to like cut out, I think I cut out like 70 pieces of wood that were like about this big just
Wow.
by hand. It took forever.
And it's so like the cutting board, if I'm getting the visual, is like one of those ones where you glue all the pieces together.
Yeah, it's cross cut.
Sure.
So it's like the edge grain, little
Okay.
squares, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It looks very cool.
Those are dope.
Yeah.
I love those.
That's the harder part of the wood too. So they last a bit longer if you do it right. But so I had to like sand, fucking like go crazy on it because they're all, it was like okay, but they're not. I'm not a machine, so they're not
Sure.
perfectly straight.
Yeah.
And so I'd like go
Just
to
like
town
you.
on this thing,
All
just
right.
not perfectly straight, just enough edge to it,
just enough.
Yeah.
And keep it exciting.
from the right angle.
Yeah.
You'll catch your finger on. it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I'm like fucking just sanding this thing, just like going crazy for like an hour today and like 2 hours yesterday, and this dude just like keeps going inside and outside, and he's like bringing these pots of sauce. They're uncovered, and like every time he just looks up at me like, fucking really, man? But he never covered them. He never put anything over it.
Oh, they're uncovered. I was expecting at least a lid, and you were just
lid.
like showering
I could see
him.
the sauce. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like red sauce.
Is
from
it
an
a
Italian
fancy restaurant?
I don't think so.
I mean, most of food
They're
until
getting
like
their
19...
sauce from outside, so I don't know
Yeah,
how fancy they could be.
most of food until like 1960 was half sawdust anyway. So
Yeah, you can eat sawdust.
the
it's fine.
the old people eating at this Italian place are not going to have any issue. They're going to be
You know,
like,
if
that
you go
reminds
to,
me of
like-
when I was a kid.
If you go to Home Depot and you buy like pressurized wood
Okay.
for like building something outside, ground contact lumber they call it.
Okay.
It's it comes with like a on the tag that you scan when you check out at Home Depot.
Yeah.
It's just stapled into the wood. On the tag it says I forget how they word it, but they're like it's basically a carcinogen warning for the state of California.
Oh,
But
yeah,
only
you're
the
not
state of-
supposed to. Well, you're not supposed to burn treated wood.
No, and you're not supposed to inhale the dust if you're just like sawing it all day either.
Oh, okay.
That's like the big thing with it, because if you're like machining this wood down, you should be wearing a mask. We never won.
Gotcha. No,
But it's always funny. It's like only the state of California issues that warning.
yeah. Well, they're softer over there.
100%. Yeah.
So,
they
I
care more
mean-
about more cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, we know we had no safety precaution. When I was roofing houses, it was like, what were your safety precautions? Well, I wore tennis shoes, and it's like, okay, well, how'd that go? It's like, average stepping on at least 2 nails a week.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
like,
bad.
I got my tetanus shot 3 years before I did it, so I'm probably okay. Like,
Yeah, you're within that 5-year
yeah, I'm in the 5 to
range,
10 year range, so we're good. But yeah, it's like weird using nail guns. We used to like if we had to roof the house and the garage, there'd be a group of us doing the garage and a group of us doing the house. And so when both sides have nail guns, you start firing them at each other. That's just what you do. And so like the
Will they
person
really
walked
fly
out
that
and we were
far,
like,
though?
"Pop." So they would fly
'Cause
that
they
far,
tumble.
but they wouldn't get there with any heat.
Yeah.
So like if you hit someone, unless you hit them directly in the eye, which was a possibility because we weren't wearing goggles or anything. But if like it would just kind of feel like somebody flicked you if it hit you in like the knee.
Well, I feel anytime you see that in a movie of like they shoot the nail gun at
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
and they're
no.
like, even when they're like 15 feet away,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they're just not aerodynamic.
No,
In
they
that
don't,
way.
they don't spin. They flip.
They tumble. Exactly. Yeah. So it would just like fucking.
The only
just hit
time is
you.
if you get like a hand against the wall type deal, and then you could just like that. That would hurt like a motherfucker. But other than that, no, we weren't doing no safety shit, and it was fine. We were all right. Nobody died. I almost died once, but like that was on the first day. I didn't know what I was doing.
Wore gloves. That's all I did.
I didn't even do that. The whole summer, my hands were cut up.
You gotta, I used to never wear gloves when I was working.
Yeah.
I was like, because we did carpentry and like a lot of like finer carpentry, and so like a lot you do it is good to be able to feel what you're doing.
Yes.
And so I never wore gloves, and it was fine. Sometimes if I was like very specific things, I would put gloves. I'd put them on, like because I always had them with me.
Right.
But one time I was making all the tables for the pair actually,
Okay.
and I was like,
New pair or old pair?
old pair.
Oh, okay.
I made all the tables in that room.
Or downtown pair. I shouldn't call it the old pair. It's still there. But
Yeah, but the older pair.
Yeah.
OG pair.
OG.
And I was like driving these screws into the back of this thing with the impact driver, and I had my hand like just right here, just holding the wood, bracing it.
Yeah.
And I was like driving the screw in, and I don't even know why I was putting so much force on it, but I was like really like just pushing down with my arm, and I slipped off, and the impact driver hit me in the thumb right here.
Ooh.
And broke my thumbnail, but at the base of
at
the
like
thumb.
the root.
Yeah, right at the bottom.
Oh, dude.
So it just broke. And it just like went in. It was like a deep, you know, when you hit yourself, like you cut yourself, but the blood that comes out is like black.
Yes.
Because it's like such a deep cut. It's not oxygenated or what. It doesn't get like bright red from the air.
Right.
So it's just like this like black purple blood coming out.
Oh.
It was really rough. It took like 3 months to heal because the nail had to grow all the way out. And then at one point, half the nail just like fell off.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had to like, keep it wrapped up all the time. I had like half a nail on my hand.
That's
really
so
disgusting.
annoying. I hate having a wrap on my fingers. That is the most annoying thing. I would rather get hurt anywhere else, literally, than my fingers.
Yeah, fingers are for a bad one.
I don't think I ever got really injured doing like any sort of construction or like woodworking or anything like that. It was always in the back of my mind. I'm sure I had some like close calls with the table saw or whatever, but everyone's had at least one where you're like, whoa.
I'm always like, I would get hurt in pretty dumb ways because I would like the one thing, I'm terrified of using a router. That's something about.
Describe what a router is.
Well, you see either a table, it's basically
like
a motor that spins it'd be like essentially like a drill bit.
Okay.
But it's like a knife, and it'll cut something in a certain way. It's
in like a circle,
yeah,
right?
not describing it very well.
Well, it's so you know, put it on a drill.
Well, you don't put it on a drill, you have to put it on a router because it's essentially like a drill. It does the same thing. It just rotates or it spins something. But it only takes router bits, so they're not shanked. It's just like a perfectly round thing. It's not like drill bits. A lot of times are fluted. It gives something for to bite onto.
Yep.
But yeah, router. I mean, it spins like at probably like 2,000 or 3,000 RPM.
Oh yeah,
it's like crazy fast.
Yeah.
The drill doesn't spill anywhere near that fast.
Okay.
But they're used for cutting out, like, you know, if you ever see like a cutting board that has the juice groove.
Yes.
So it's like one piece of wood, and then it's like, so that's done with a router.
Ah, okay.
So you'll like plunge it in, and then you just go around, and you'll have like a guide or something that'll help you make it. So they cut brilliantly. They're super sharp, and they're a very, very useful tool. But just something about them to me is just like, because they have a weird weight to them. They're a lot of times kind of heavy.
Okay.
A really good one is like top heavy. So, because it's just such a big motor, like making this thing spin like crazy, and it's, I don't know. And then it's spinning so fast, so anytime when you turn it on, it just like, it starts going. And so there's like the angular momentum of it gives it a kick, and it like kind of stabilizes it.
Yeah.
But it's like a gyroscope. So if you're like holding it on an angle and you turn it on, it'll like right itself up. So it kind of moves with a mind of its own. Yeah.
Okay.
Very scary. And a lot of times when you use one, if you're using like the shop I worked at, they had two. They had one small one you just hold in one hand, and then they had one like really beefy one that we would use if we had to like do it like a ton of cuts and cut through like 3/4 inch plywood with it, no problem. You have to like set it up on your jig, and then you have to plunge it. So you have to push it directly into the wood.
Yeah.
Instead of like cut it. If you cut from the side, like you turn it on and you go into the side and you cut this way, it's fine. It's not going to give you any resistance.
Yeah.
But if you plunge it directly into the surface of the wood, it's going to want to kick.
Right.
And so you have to like really hold it. So it just feels incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's not like
it's not
something
going to stop if you let go of it.
It's not like a drill that you have your finger on. It's going. And so, I've never even met somebody that had a router injury, but it's something about it. I'm like, it would be so horrible. Like all the other injuries, like I know people that have had very bad table saw injuries. When I was in high school, this chick cut off 3 of her fingers with the miter saw.
Oh, dude!
But those ones I've never been afraid of.
No,
because I'm just like I'm fully aware of what's going on.
She just like wasn't paying attention.
Just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
There's so many people that we kind of like touched on this before we even started. Of like, it's funny to me how many people do construction. Or just construction stuff, and go into it with really no idea of like how any of this is going to work. Even like
that's how I almost died on the first day of roofing houses.
Sometimes, like you'll see people put things together. Sometimes you're like, how do you think that that's going to stay up? You'd have to know something about materials that I don't. It just doesn't make it. You're building like a Dr. Seuss house, you know. But
they don't put it together. They're just like, I don't know. I thought it would. Yeah. They're just not thinking.
Yeah, 100%. But this chick, she wasn't in my shop class. She was in another shop class. And she was a grade above me. And she went to, she was cutting something with the miter saw. And it was one of like the ones that is on the track. So it slides out. And those, it's very important that anytime like I've told somebody how to use one of those, like if they had to use one, the first thing I always tell them was like, if you cut something that's only like a few inches big, if it's less than the radius of the blade, then you can just... Well, if it's less than the radius, you could just chop it.
Yeah.
But if it's longer than the radius, or like equal to the diameter of the blade, you have to slide it out, push it down, and then cut in. Because the blade is spinning towards you.
Right.
And the teeth are cutting like that. And so if you don't have like full control over it, and you're like cutting something pretty wide, if you cut like a 10-inch wide piece of whatever, and you have like a 12-inch wide blade, then you will cut down and the blade won't cut all the way through because it's curved.
Right.
And it'll want to like bite in and hop up on the wood and then just shoot out towards you because it'll climb on top of it.
Right.
It won't just cut down perfectly, especially if you have like not like a super sharp saw, which like one in a classroom that gets used however many times a day and like never gets changed.
Never getting changed. The school didn't have budget for that.
And so she didn't think about that. And I don't know, maybe somebody told her, maybe they didn't. But she went to like cut this wider piece of wood and she braced it by putting her hand right here.
Oh, dude.
And so, I mean, that's just like, I mean, you put your hand like in the way of the saw.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But so it hopped up and it cut
together.
off this finger,
it's a pinky
and
ring,
almost all of this finger. This one was hanging on, and this one got shot, like got sucked in, or maybe it was the pinky. One of them got sucked in through the track, and then up. Like it didn't go into the bag, but it went up around the saw, and then just spat out all the way into the hallway.
Oh no!
So one of the janitors picked up her finger and brought it back to her. Yeah.
Can he sue for like PTSD from that?
I don't
like, can he get some fucking money out of this?
I think she was probably able to sue them.
Yeah.
I don't
this
remember
is also
like,
why their
signing a
shop
waiver.
Classes are not in school anymore. Also,
I met
we
another
don't
guy
fucking
that
need them.
cut off a couple fingers with a miter saw.
How did she get her fingers sewn back on, or was
did?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I've seen her since.
Not.
They're not perfect. But they're there.
Rough.
I met another guy that got 3 of his fingers cut off, or I think he had parts of 2 fingers and then like half of 1 finger cut off.
Wow. Okay.
Which I remember when I noticed it that his fingers were different lengths. It was like this one was like to this knuckle, this one here, and this one. It was a weird. I was like, I don't even know how you were holding this to get it.
Yeah.
Because the saw cuts in a straight line. But he wasn't able to get them reattached. No.
Too like mangled. Like if it's a clean cut, they can get it back on there.
Maybe they never found them. But
oh boy.
So he has like fake ones that he wears sometimes. Yeah.
So how do you get hurt? Because you're saying you get hurt in dumb ways.
I'll do it like when it's something that's incredibly dangerous, like a table saw. Table saw can change your life.
Oh yeah.
A chop saw can change your life. A router, I've never even met someone that has a router injury, but it just sounds so violent.
Yeah.
It's like it whines in a way I really don't like. It's a great tool. Scott,
you're trying to tell me the router has bad vibes. 100%.
Router is like, you ever see like how a dog reacts to a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah.
That's how I react to a router. Something about the frequency that it's at, I just don't trust it.
That's so funny.
They're so loud.
It's like, nope. No. Dogs do that with
really
people
takes
too.
Over the room. Yeah.
Like if a woman has a dog, brings a guy home, and the dog like off the bat's like, you're like, that dude
Something
kills
about
people.
This is wrong.
I trust this dog.
Yeah,
that
100%.
dude kills people.
Not my dog. My dog is fucking anybody that comes in, she'll bark her head off.
Oh, well, I think it's because you hang out with a lot of murderers.
Yeah, it's probably because I hang out with a lot of comics.
Yeah.
She's like, this guy's a loser. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
You watch, I'm going to roll in there and she's going to be like, not as big of a loser.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it down a little bit. 1 or 2 barks.
Yeah. No, she'd probably run right up to you. She's not much of a guard dog.
No. You can't really be a guard dog in the city.
A 32-pound golden doodle.
Well, some of them try.
Yeah.
The only time I ever got bit by a dog was a golden doodle because
it was
back when I delivered papers. And anyone with papers, that's the enemy. The dogs know it's bred into them. I don't know.
Did you have like a paper route?
Yeah, I had like a little paper route.
Like with a bicycle?
I would walk around because it was only like 4 square blocks. It was like our local cadence or whatever. Each newspaper was like 4 pages.
That's crazy. I didn't think anyone had that job since like 1973.
Well, I put on the little hat and yelled with a British accent, but like that was just part of
That's just like
that was part of the gig.
A job like you hear somebody did and like they paid you $2 a week.
Oh no, they paid me like $15 a week.
Damn.
And it was way more. Well, if I'm adding it up, it was probably like 2.5 hours worth of work. But at the age of 10, that's so much work.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's so much money, too. $15.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. But I hated it so much. I think it wasn't delivering. I like delivering. We had to roll them up and put them in these little plastic bags. But I was 10, so the paper compared to my hands was huge.
Yeah.
It's like my dad could do 40 of them in about 6 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm struggling with like 1 for 12 minutes.
Yeah,
and
you're getting the whole thing fucked
fucking
up.
nightmare. And then this dog bit me, and that was the only reason I was able to convince my dad to let me stop doing it. So I was rich for a hot minute, though.
Still love dogs.
Still love dogs. It's just kind of like a nip. Like just got me on the ankle.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with dogs. I knew dogs were good, but that dog was crazy.
Yeah.
Type deal.
I only ever been bit by a dog one time also, and I knew like almost immediately when I met the dog, I was like, this dog's gonna bite me.
You could see it in the.
I was like, this dog.
You could tell.
Because I've met dogs that didn't really like me at first, or like really got thrown off by my presence, and I won them over pretty quickly. I love dogs, and dogs love me.
Yeah.
But this dog, just within like 5 minutes, I was like, "No, this dog's never gonna like me."
No, something
sure
about
enough,
the dog. Yep.
Yeah.
How bad? Did you lose a finger?
No, but I think I still have a scar.
You see
there.
that one chick at the doctor, and you're like, "You here?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Still
doing
you.
this again? Yeah. You still have the scar on your finger?
I think so. I used
shit.
it a little while ago. It was like right here, but I can't really see it right now. But yeah, it got me pretty good. Maybe it was this hand. I don't know.
Obviously not that good if you can't remember what hand it was.
You know, it's funny. When I was like 14 or 15, I got my hand hit with a sledgehammer.
Oh,
Like a 15-pound sledgehammer.
God damn.
From like a swing. You know?
Why?
My dad.
How? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Were you not holding the flashlight correctly?
No, it wasn't. I didn't hold the chisel correctly.
Oh, no, not the chisel.
Yeah. And for like years after that, I was like, it was this hand. I remembered it being this hand.
Yeah.
And then like 2 years ago, I like remembered correctly. I was like, no, it was this hand.
Right hand.
Yeah, it was a crazy thing to just miss. I was like, yeah, I remember this hand. And then I like saw the scar on this hand one day. Like this finger is not as round as the other ones. It's a little bit straighter. So I got like a flat part. That's because he caught just the finger, or just the tip of the finger.
Yeah,
just the tip he got, and it like turned it into cauliflower.
Oh, dude.
But yeah,
that would fucking hurt.
Yeah,
I don't
really
think
hurt.
My dad physically injured me. He mentally injured me working with him. Because we would do all these projects like together. Like my senior year Christmas break, he had a coworker that was telling him that she was gonna frame her basement and put up drywall and all this other, build a fake wall and make her basement, essentially finish her basement. And my dad was like, "Oh, well, my son and I and his friend will do it for like half what you're gonna pay over there." So my buddy and I each got paid like $1,500, but we lost our entire Christmas break.
Yeah.
And your senior year of high school, you're like, no, I'm tired of doing classes. I want to like hang out for Christmas break. And so we had to spend the entire break in the winter in Michigan, cold as shit, in this basement with like in an unfinished, no heat,
cutting drywall,
nothing. Cutting drywall, cutting wood, because we had to frame it too. So we had to get all the studs. We had to measure it all out. And the biggest part of it is that my dad, my buddy, and I were not good at what we were doing. We could do it, but we weren't good at it. So it looked good, but it would take like 9 tries to fucking do it.
Right.
And we're always like dropping stuff, like drop a drywall board and it gets all crumpled on the corner, so you can't use it anymore and shit like that. So that was the running joke, was the entire time that we were working, yelling doesn't count. Like everyone's just yelling at each other, and it doesn't mean anything. We're just yelling. There's no, like, you can't read into the yelling.
Yeah.
But then also we would have a contest to see who would get quote unquote fired the fastest every day. So I'd roll into work, immediately fuck something up, and then my dad would be like, and you're fired. Get the fuck out. And we'd have to like go outside, take a lap for 10 seconds because we were so bad at the goddamn job. Like, I
still get paid though.
I still got paid because like, what was this woman going to do? Like kick us out after we were halfway done? So that was mentally jarring. But I guess it built character. And then 2 months later, the basement flooded and ruined everything that we did. So
there you go.
That was the real cherry on top.
Yeah. It's good to just like do projects like that too, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's good to spend time like thinking about how things get together.
Yeah.
Like how you just put stuff together. I think that's like the thing most people think that they can't do something like that. It's like they just don't think for... You think about like 20 minutes, like just how a wall is structured, you could probably build one.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. It's just very detail oriented.
Yeah, you can be
and
bad
that's
at
where
it.
I get
for sure. Yeah,
fucked. I am much more of a big picture person, where it's just like, no, you have to measure to this exact centimeter, and then it's like, wait a minute, are we measuring to the inside edge or the outside edge of the stud?
Yeah,
because
that always
makes
happens.
a big fucking difference.
Well, yeah, that'll throw your measurements off by 1.5 inches.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So then you got this lopsided ass fucking wall.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I was like, oh, I understand why these old houses are all wacky.
Yeah.
It was just like a couple of drunk dudes putting studs up in the 1900s, of course.
Well, it's like you go to
terrible.
even like, I mean, this place looks pretty nice, but like
Built 1901.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's solid. None
But
of
it's
this
like,
shit creaks.
Even your walls, they look pretty straight from just like sitting here. But like you go to like most walls,
I'll show you afterwards.
They're just way out of plumb.
Uh-huh.
Like they're all just fucked up. There's no straight walls anywhere.
This wall that the camera is right in front of is actually very, very much on an angle.
Yeah.
And you could see it in the floorboards. So I'll show you after this, but the floorboards are all cut at like an angle because it doesn't match.
Yeah.
So every day with this carpet, because the carpet moves a little bit when people are walking on it or whatever, I have to decide, do I want the carpet to be parallel with the wall or parallel with the floorboards? And whichever way I do it, I notice the other way, and it's going to piss me off.
100%.
Yeah, every time. And it's because this place is old as shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing behind that wall. They just didn't build it straight.
But even like newer things, it's just like so much of construction is just like people putting things together.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't come out.
That
like,
is, you could
straight,
argue that's all of construction.
You know? Yeah.
Just people putting things together.
But it's just like...
We're going to reduce the entire industry.
It's like people put like... I remember I built a deck for the first time.
Okay.
I built a couple decks. Like I built like just a deck that was outside, standalone, more of like a platform. But we, put decking on it. And so that was like a deck that we built. And it was nice and level. And it was like a little above the ground, whatever. And then I built like a bunch of like just like smaller like kind of patio things.
Sure.
But the first time I ever built, and the only time I ever built, like a second story deck. So like a raised deck
on stilts,
came out of like somebody's house.
Terrifying.
And then built the stringers and the stairs and all that.
Oh my god.
And like built that whole thing.
I'd be 100% sure that thing would collapse if I built it.
Well, so I didn't build it by myself. I was like hired on the job, and it was me and like all the guys I used to work with. And it was just, we weren't like much of a company. We were just like, we were 3 guys that worked together a lot. And then we brought on a 4th guy, and he worked with us too. And the 4th guy was the only one that had ever done that before.
Oh, shit.
And so, and like, one day he wasn't even there.
Oh, God.
And like, there's so many parts of that job, but like that one in particular really hit me. There's like, we're building this thing, and I'm like, I'm deferring to them because I had like the least experience.
How old are you? Like
this was a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was like maybe 2 years ago.
Smart enough to know you don't know what you're doing, so you'll defer.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's just like, I don't want to make this thing collapse.
No.
I was like, I think this is what I would do if I wasn't allowed to like research this at all.
Yeah.
But like we would be like, all right, whatever we're gonna do here, and there were so many times they would start a sentence with, "I think we should."
Yeah,
because like they didn't even fucking know. They're like, I don't know. I guess we'll just do what kind of makes sense, and then make it stronger.
Shit. Yeah,
and then go do that.
There you go.
So it's like it's so much of construction is just like it's people that know how to build things being like, this is how I would do it.
Yeah,
and like just kind of figuring it out. But like, there's always people. Like every time I look at fire escapes in the city,
oh my god,
like
I can't believe they don't collapse.
Well, I've been I was on
time.
one today standing where like the slat is loose because it wasn't bolted correctly, and it is old as shit, hasn't been inspected in however many years.
No,
but it's like also like this is a very specialized company that puts these on 100%. But someone working for them, it was their first week. You know, like there's a new guy on that crew who doesn't fucking know what he's doing, and that's the one that collapses. And you just like have this idea that like, oh, okay, if it was built by people that know how to do it. And so there were like certifications and insurance and all these like qualifications or whatever. I was like, no, it was just dudes. Dudes that probably didn't go to college.
Oh, no, none of them.
Yeah. Doesn't mean anything about their intelligence or their ability, but it's just like they're just guys.
It just means they were out of their mind, honestly. I didn't work with a single dude in construction who wasn't. Well, I take it back. The ones who grew up very poor were... They were the really smart ones. I was like, man, if you had money growing up, like if you had money to go to college, you would have been super successful.
Sure.
Type of thing. But the ones who grew up middle class and then ended up roofing houses they weren't dumb, but they were crazy.
But
they were hilarious.
Sucks, dude.
I loved working with those guys.
I've never done any roofing, but like I've just watched people do it, and I'm like, that sucks. That is a shitty job.
To your point, yeah, it's fucking terrible. 3.5 stories up,
Would
90
you do
degree
like the
day.
tar? Did you have like the flamethrower and the tar?
So we didn't do that. So I worked for my my buddy's older brother owned his own roofing company, and he would just like, honestly, he was very good at it, and then he would find roofers on Craigslist, and just like, it honestly felt like he was trying to find people to play pickup basketball, but it was roofing houses. It's like, all right, you ever done this before? He's like, yeah, all right, cool, meet us at this one, and then I'll pay you. And then there was always disputes and whatnot, but he would get like, we would see kind of the same people roll through. But to your point about people not really knowing what they're doing, he was actually smart about that. So he would let anyone, including me, tear down the old roof, but then putting in the new one. Like if he had to re-shingle, then he would only get the dudes that he really liked, that he knew had done it.
Yeah, for sure.
A bunch of times. Because he was like, look, if this falls apart, then they're going to come back to me. We got to come back here. It's going to be a whole fucking mess. I'm going to lose money. Like, I'd rather just have it take an extra day and have 3 less people.
Yeah, not to mention that you're on the hook for all the damage to the house if, like, it gets, rainstorm or something.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a guy who hangs out at the Pear. His name's Mark. He's not a comic. He's like an older black dude. He hangs out on the Pear. He's one of the barflies. And he'll, like, really talk your ear off if you let him. But he is an interesting guy. He's got some cool stories about, like, stuff like music industry has told me about and shit like that.
Oh, cool.
But he saw me one time. I was like, I had to shorten the awning at the Pear's like outdoor dining thing.
Yeah.
So it's just me. I did like the whole thing myself, and he like watched me do the whole thing, and he asked me if I ever did any roofing. And I was like, I've done like rafters, but that's it. I've never done like actual roofing. I've like put up like sheet metal, but I don't put down plywood and shingles and all that.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's a really tough job. I used to do that in Phoenix.
Oh,
and I was like, damn, dude, you were a fucking roofer.
Oh, my God.
That's like the worst possible job.
So they
worked from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
I was going to say, they definitely do it at night.
Yeah.
Or they only do it in the winter. Because in Michigan, you can't do it in the winter. It's a summer only job.
You can't do anything,
But the temperature rarely got above 90.
Right.
So like 85 degrees still fucking sucks, especially Michigan. It's super humid.
Phoenix in the summertime. It's 90 by 8 in the morning.
God damn. Yeah. No, yeah. I'm also I'm choosing to work nights if I'm in the desert. But I mean, I don't know. It builds character, and it is pretty intuitive. Like if you had to roof a house, if tomorrow someone was like, roof this house and I'll give you $1 million, you'd figure out how to roof the house. It's not that hard.
I'm sure I could do it.
It's just like, it sucks, and then it's a lot of cleanup, and then it's very, like, the shingles have to be placed pretty much perfectly, and until you're good at it, that takes forever.
Yeah, 100%.
But once you're good at it, you just slap it down, and that's what I've found with, like, building everything else. Is just, like, if you can visualize it and you kind of get into a groove, then you're good.
Yeah.
Like you said, you build all those like outdoor dining things.
Yeah. I probably
by the end of that, you could probably put one together in like a day and a half.
And we built some cool ones. We built ones that I was like really proud of. And I think all of the ones I built are still there.
No shit.
Like none of them ever had any structural problems.
I can't believe the snowplows haven't taken those out. Well, we didn't have any snow this year.
That's a bigger thing. Yeah. But like, yeah, I don't know. It is really just about like any kind of building anything is like, you're 100% right. You just have to have like an idea for what you're going to do. And if you're able to like improvise when you inevitably run into a huge problem.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe I could build anything. I sincerely believe that.
Well, do the pyramids then, you bitch. You won't do it.
I don't understand when people say the pyramids, like, how were they built?
Yeah, I don't understand. How do you move that? It's like there's so many little tricks to move shit.
Blocks.
Well, their argument is like, how did the blocks were so heavy? How did they get them up? What they already built? It's pulleys. Just people.
Yeah.
It's people and pulleys.
Well, even like Louis has the joke about that, where he's just like, it's incredible what you can accomplish when you don't care about human suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how they did that.
It's just, okay, so you got like
it's
this
weirder
angle.
to me when you see like like if you ever look at like the statues, like the David and stuff like that, and if you ever like, you go to the Met, they don't have the David there, but if you go to the Met and you like see these marble statues and they're so fucking smooth, that's crazier to me.
Yeah.
That like somebody was able to chisel that out of a rock. That's crazier to me than any of the pyramids or the Colosseum or whatever. I've been to the Colosseum. It's a cool, but it's not like
it's big.
I don't not understand how it's built.
When something's that big, you can get away with those little issues.
Yeah.
Like my wall being crooked. Like the only reason I knew that is because I had to put down this carpet and I live here. Yeah. But nobody walking in would be like, "Oh, Corey, is he the one with the wacky wall?" Like nobody's fucking doing that. But Coliseum, same thing. I agree. There's a dude, bringing up TikTok again, who takes these giant stumps and he carves dogs out of them, but they're the actual size of the dog.
That's cool.
And it looks like those marble statues that you'd see in like the British Museum after they stole them from Greece. It's perfectly it looks exactly like the dog. They'll do like the side by side. I'm like, how the fuck did you see that in there? And then also he's using this giant chainsaw. I'm like, I would accidentally cut the dog in half. Are you kidding me?
But that's a different that's not even like a building thing at that point. Like that guy it's the same thing as a sculptor. He's just an artist.
Yeah.
He really is.
But it's still
it's funny that it's with a chainsaw because you're like a hillbilly artist. But he is an artist. He's just an artist that all his friends would say he's gay if he called himself an artist.
All artists are gay.
They are. Yeah. But that guy lives in West Virginia.
They'd be working
a little harder.
Yeah, right. So they'd be working a real job if they weren't gay.
Yeah. But that shit is amazing. That's actually something I've never been good at. That.
Okay.
I can make furniture. Sure. Like kind of interesting stuff. I can't like wood carve. I've tried it too, and I'm just
so like a wooden chair. It would be pretty rough if you did it, or you feel like you could
build
do like
a chair.
Oh, okay,
for sure. I've done that.
Yeah,
but I mean, like if I were to carve like something like that, like a person or an animal,
sure,
or like a figurine or whatever, it would look like shit. Okay. I bought like a bunch of just like little pieces of balsa wood and a wood carving set, and I was like, I'm gonna make my own chess set. And I poked myself in the thumb with the knife 50 times, and it just came out like they just didn't look good. I'm just not good at that.
Anything that I need like very, very high dexterity for, like sewing. I've tried to learn how to sew so many times because I got the chub rub in my jeans. So I'm just like, all right, if I can learn how to sew my jeans, and it lasts like a week. Yeah. I'll spend literally 3 to 4 hours sewing the shit out of these fucking jeans, and then it just like unravels. It doesn't even break; it just unravels.
Will you ever like tie it?
God, yeah. I'm like, I thought I did.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
You just went in and out. Like,
I don't
one time.
Actually. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like I went the wrong way.
Secure it to anything.
That's the issue. Is like when I'm in the moment, I think I'm doing it right, and then it's when I step back.
Yeah.
Like anytime I like carve something or like cut something intricate. Or like one of the things that I built in college for our college house is I took an old ping pong table and made a cornhole set out of it. You'd think it's super easy. It's literally just like 2 fucking rectangles, and then I took a couple pieces of wood, put a hinge on it so that you could like kick it up and it would be the stand for there.
Yeah. And then it just needs a hole.
Boring the hole in that piece of wood was
what are
a
they made
top
out
five
of?
difficult moment.
Ping pong is probably made out of like particle board. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a denser particle board. It's got a lot of it's very heavy for how much wood it is. Not waterproof. Learned that after it sat out in the rain.
Yeah.
But
because they're like laminated or something.
Yes. Yeah. Do it, and it was an old ping pong table. It was probably from the 60s, so it was like thick wood. It wasn't that like composite wood that they use now.
Yeah.
My point is doing the hole for those I couldn't get it straight. I spent for an hour and a half, and it was always lopsided in some direction. It didn't matter which way I cut it. Like if I used the drill, if I used a sander, if I used the fucking hand saw, the Sawzall to like try to get in there. Couldn't make it happen because that was like the detail oriented thing, and so it's just like this whack cornhole set. But the thing with cornhole, it doesn't matter if the hole is the perfect size or not. It's still hard to get in.
A little bigger than the beanbag.
Yes,
it could even be square.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway. I need to have someone on here that's good at that shit and be like, "What did you do?"
Like figurine stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think I could cut a perfect circle if I like traced it out right with a compass. Well, I'd probably use a jigsaw, but I just can't let the fucking with the knife. Wood carving has always been something I was bad at.
Okay.
But yeah, other stuff.
Can you paint? Like, can you draw?
No.
I can't draw either.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at it. I would do like when I was in high school, I would just doodle a lot, and I would do like fractal stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I'd start with like
angular.
A triangle and then a square off it and whatever.
That's what mine was.
And I just like fill a whole page of that, and it would look cool, but it's not like I can't create something.
Look cool for a kid.
Yeah, it looks fine that like my book sock was covered in that.
I drew a lot of those
but
like,
it's not like
S's, those S's. Geometric S's. Carmen has this game where she like if people are around and she thinks of it, she'll ask them to draw a horse from memory. And it's really fucking hard to draw a horse from memory. I think
it'd be hard for me to draw a horse looking at one.
No, yeah, that
actually,
also would
it might be harder.
Throw me. I'd overthink all the details.
Yeah. I try to like capture the horse's personality in the drawing.
It's got kind eyes. Yeah. She has Graham and Elizabeth, who've been on this podcast, and Elizabeth was really good. She also drew like fishnet stockings on the horse, so it was like kind of a burlesque horse, which fits because she did the episode on burlesque.
Yeah.
Graham's was like deformed, and then the one that I drew was a perfect donkey. It didn't look like a horse. It looked exactly like a donkey. And I was like, if that is not the epitome of how my fucking drawing works, I can't draw anything that I want to draw, but it doesn't look bad, you know?
But a donkey does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
A donkey is just like a wrong
horse. Well, I was
horse.
Short and fat and
the ears are too big. It's a horse minus all of the majesty.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a horse.
I don't know if they're adorable. Donkeys are kind of disgusting.
No, the donkey that I drew and grew was adorable. That's what I'm saying.
You a big horse guy? You like horses?
I like anything with a big mane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get the horse thing.
No?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a huge fan. My mom really likes horses, so I
think
I
they're
know
cool
of
animals.
them. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, but they're not like...
Not in love with them.
Yeah, people love horses.
Women love horses.
Yeah.
There's not many men that are like big horse guys.
I think you have to own horses.
Once you own horses, but I think they treat them just like they would treat like a cow.
Well, I think if you're somebody that can own horses, like if that's the station you're at in your life,
true,
then it's like that's probably the only living thing you can have a relationship with. You don't understand people anymore.
No. Yeah. No. You're only understanding horses. We are way off topic.
Yeah. Build the stables.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do that. Or like you see those videos of the Amish putting up a barn.
Could do that. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I could do that.
I don't know if I could do the whole thing by myself.
No. I need some help, but like I could design it.
Yeah.
And it would be structurally intact.
Yeah.
I think.
I think I can do any renovation in a house I could do.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I would not do. Like I just wouldn't want to do them because somebody else would do them better.
Sure.
But I could do it. I
Yeah.
think I could do the whole thing.
You and my dad should talk. That's what he does.
I wouldn't want to cut the stone for like a countertop.
No.
I wouldn't want to do that because I've had to cut stone before. I did it one time and I would never want to do it again.
No, I have no interest. I would do it once. I would do all that shit once because I'd be like, oh, okay, let me see. So like with your house, obviously if you're doing a cutting board, it's kind of like it's a hobby.
Yeah.
The thing that I make fun of my dad for is that he's always renovating the house. And this was my buddy's dad too. He's always renovating the house, and because he's doing it, it takes so much longer than if he just hired someone.
Yeah, but it seems like he just wants to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but where's the line, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is 3 years too long to be putting up to
I think if you're like
renovating a room on
if you you can't use the upstairs bathroom for 3 years, then I think that's the line.
There was a solid 6 months where our mid-floor bathroom didn't have a doorknob in it.
Yeah.
And one of my friends got trapped in there, and then for some reason, instead of busting out the screen, he decided to try to bust through the door that was locked.
Okay.
And then my dad...
Wait, it had a lock but no knob?
So it had the latch.
The peg came out?
Yes.
Okay.
It had the latch, and it closed behind him. He didn't realize there was no doorknob. And so he panicked like a caged squirrel and tried to bust out the door. And so the center of the door was like busted out of the frame of the door.
Sure.
The doorknob was on the sink. All he had to do was just like put it in and turn it.
Yeah.
But it's just
Probably get your finger in there too.
Yeah, you could just like fuck it. Yeah. I mean, that's what we did for 6 months to a year was just like put the doorknob in there. It's really hard to repair a door when the middle's been busted out.
Yeah, usually that's you buy a new door.
But my dad wanted to teach us a lesson.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't home when it happened. So he came home, and me and my buddies all had this door on the 2 sawhorses out in the backyard. And we were like, we're going to try to fix it, I swear to God.
Yeah.
And I spent the next 4 weekends trying to fix that fucking door.
How would you even fix it?
Honestly, I think my dad punched out the rest of the middle and then put a new middle in there. And
was it a solid wood door?
Or
was it like the doors they have now, which is just like MDF? Just like super thin.
I think it was, so the frame, the outside of the door was pretty thick.
Yeah.
That was like solid door, but it had, the middle of it, I think, was just like a little particle board.
Yeah.
But
it was wood,
and it was like kind of decorative. Yeah, it was wood.
Because most of the doors
middle was
now,
very thin.
Like,
it's just solid.
Yeah, the doors, like most apartment doors, I can't see.
I have no
here
doors
you're
in here.
Studio, yeah.
Yeah.
But like my bathroom door in my apartment, is like I know it's fucked up on the bottom every time I notice that. But it's like the way they do doors, the ones you buy at Home Depot, you just go buy a door, for like $100 or whatever. It's like 2 pieces of MDF, so it's like essentially sawdust just pressed with a little bit of water into a wood shape. So it is wood, but it's it's machine dense something, whatever the F stands for, and then corrugated paper, cardboard, in between them, and that's what glues it together. So those super light doors that are flimsy, they're cardboard and sawdust. That's what they're made of.
That checks out.
So you could just fucking put your fist through that thing.
Oh yeah. This one was wood, but I think my dad ended up cutting the middle out of it and then putting a new like plywood board into the middle that we then had to like glue on to the door and then paint and caulk to like build that. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad listens. He's also not afraid to tell me what I said wrong on the podcast, so I'm sure he'll let me know what actually happened there.
All right. Yeah.
But we're at an hour. Was there anything that we missed? That went by fast.
Yeah,
real
fast.
fast.
I mean, I love talking about that stuff.
Oh yeah,
I do that all day. Yeah,
great.
It's fun. I love doing that. I think I would do the same type of stuff as your dad if I had my own house. I'd really just tinker a lot.
I could see that.
Yeah.
What's your next project? Let's end on that. You got one lined up?
Of something I'm making?
Yeah.
I just finished.
We need more reasons
board.
to shower this restaurant with sawdust.
I just finished that cutting board, and I have like 4 pieces of like nice exotic wood that I want to do something. I think I'm gonna make a coffee table.
Ooh.
But we'll see. I'm on this handsaw kick. So I have this like Japanese handsaw.
Okay.
And I'm only using that for stuff.
Okay.
but we'll see.
All right.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't know what I'm gonna
definitely show me photos when you're done. That's dope. Where can people find you?
Instagram, even though I'm never on it. Eli
I mean, you do
Haba.
post.
I do post stuff.
You're not
every
like
once
the
in a while.
Instagram.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people like, oh, I'm not on Instagram, and they're not actually on Instagram.
No, I have an account.
Still a good place to find you.
Eli_Haba, and then we're the Grizzly Bear. They're a lot.
Yeah. Your weeklies every Monday, right?
Monday at 8, yeah.
Mondays at 8. Yeah. If you're in New York City, check that one out. As always, follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media, and come to Ope, a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. Eli's done it once. He will do it again.
Love to.
If you watch this episode and you want to see Eli on a show in New York at Ferns at Ope, shoot me a message on Instagram. We'll get you on the show that you're coming to.
Hell yeah.
As always. Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude, let's do it again.
For sure.
Oh, check out his other episodes, which were great. Super early on. Getting Arrested and Anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Those were super great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's do it again.
Cool, for sure.